Hi, I'm Tina Shortland, Debt Advisory Manager for Debt Advice TV. Welcome to this video. We're going to talk to you about creditors meetings and what they are and why they're so important. If you're someone who's exploring the option of an IVA or partway through your application or just curious, then you'll have heard about creditors meetings and want to know more about them. I'm joined today by Claire Jackson.
Hi.
Claire is the supervisor of the team that assists the insolvency practitioner with the IVA applications, and that includes chairing creditors meetings. And Claire's been involved in a huge number of our cases. Now, the creditors meeting is a critical part of the IVA process. It's where the creditors decide whether they will or they won't accept your IVA proposal. It's really good to understand more about this because then you'll know how it affects the outcome of your application. During this clip, I'm going to be asking Claire a number of key questions that clients ask about creditors meetings, and she'll be able to explain to us what happens in the lead up, during the meeting and afterwards. So Claire, I know from speaking with clients, what a lot of them are concerned about is, are they ever going to come face to face in a room full of creditors? Can you talk us through how a meeting's arranged and what happens?
Firstly, clients in the majority of cases will not meet their creditors face to face. Creditors do not attend in person, and the IP can waive the client's requirement to attend as long as they're available on the phone at the time of the date of the meeting. We inform the creditors and the client of when the meeting is going to take place by letter, and we give 15 days notice of the meeting to allow creditors enough time to read the proposals and then cast their vote.
So if they don't actually meet face to face, how does the meeting happen?
The meeting is actually held at the insolvency practitioner's office, and it's chaired either by the IP themselves or a member of their senior staff. Basically, the creditors submit their votes for the IVA by proxy, which means they send in a form either by post, fax or email just before or on the day of the meeting. The client is then available on the phone so we can discuss matters with them. So in effect, it's a virtual meeting.
So I know somebody watching this clip might be wondering, are there different types of votes, or is it just basically a yes-no answer?
Creditors can vote to accept the proposal, reject it, or they can also vote yes but with modifications. Modifications are basically changes to the proposal that the creditors want implemented in order for their vote to count as a yes. These changes could be increases in contributions or selling of an asset, for example.
Right, and how are the modifications dealt with?
As chairman of a meeting, I would discuss the modifications with the client, explain what they mean and what implications there might be for them personally. If the clients are happy with what the creditors have rejected, we simply accept those modifications and the vote just counts as a yes. If the client's not comfortable with what the creditors are asking, I would go back to creditors and try and negotiate and come to some common ground that all parties are happy with. That can sometimes take a little bit of time, so what we can actually do is adjourn the meeting for up to 14 days to allow sufficient time to obtain a successful outcome.
So do all creditors vote?
No, not always. Sometimes they choose not to vote or they just don't get the vote to us in time for the meeting.
What happens if they don't vote?
For an IVA to be accepted, we need to have 75% of the value of creditors that vote on the day saying yes. If that is achieved, then all creditors are bound by the arrangement, whether they voted no or indeed didn't turn up at all.
And you've said previously that a meeting can be adjourned for 14 days. Can you explain to somebody watching the clip sort of under what circumstances that might happen?
Yeah, as said before, we can use the adjournment period to try and negotiate modifications that the clients are not happy with. Or we can also use that time if we didn't get the 75% majority required. We can use the 14 days then to try and win over rejecting creditors or obtain the support of a creditor that maybe didn't vote the first time.
So I suppose the final step really is once all the votes are in and you know the result, what happens next? What can a client expect?
Whether the IVA is accepted or rejected, we have to report the outcome of the meeting within 4 working days. And this is done using a document known as the Chairman's Report, which is sent to the client and also sent to all creditors. If the IVA is rejected, we can of course discuss other options with the client for addressing their debt problems, or we could even look at possibly representing an IVA again under terms that might be more acceptable to the creditors.
Thank you, Claire, it's been really informative. So after watching this video, hopefully you're that bit clearer on creditors meetings and it's alleviated any concerns you may have had. If you've got any other questions or you want to talk about anything else, then call us now on the number on the clip. If you prefer one of us to call you, then visit the link on this clip, complete a contact form and one of us will be in touch. From Claire and I at Debt Advice TV, see you again soon.